Welcome everyone to another episode. I don't even know what episode anymore. We've been doing this too long. To another fun episode here at Isles Talk. This is a loaded water cooler talk session here, probably for about 40, 45 minutes, depending on our voices. Uh, you know, Gentlemen, big news finally coming here. Lane Lambert has
Really?
been replaced by Patrick Waugh. Um, First off, my name is Paul Kreischer, your host this evening. Joining me, Gary Harding. Gary, how are you?
Sir, how are you?
And Joe Panettiere, finally showing up, and he's got to send me that new photo stock because that other one, you know, it worked. So, Joe, that wrong finger there, Gary. But yeah, we're good.
No, I really had it hitched.
Yeah, all right.
That was nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Joe, how are you?
All right, I'm all right. Everything's
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Yeah.
So, listen, gentlemen, in all seriousness, and I do have to give Joe credit on this one. We are going to bring everyone in on our discussion. I think it was Sunday or Monday, Joe. We had talked for an hour. It was before anything had happened. Listen, you called it. You called me up and you said, listen, there's no way Lane Lambert is coming back to Long Island coaching another game after that Chicago game. There's just no way. He's out. He's not coming back. And to your credit, he didn't come back. But at the same time, we were talking, and I was like, that's great. Who are we bringing in? Craig Berube, believe it or not, is still working for the St. Louis Blues. He's scouting for he's scouting for the Blues and other teams. You had, Woodcroft, excuse me, from Edmonton, maybe. But in all honesty, we were going through the names, and you and I really weren't sold on any of this. So, give me your thoughts on bringing in Patrick Waugh as the new head coach.
Okay. Well, he brought in an icon for a coach. Okay. What do you want to do? Say the second best goaltender behind Brodeur?
Fleury's up
Okay.
yeah.
All right. But he well, we're not talking money goaltenders. So.
No.
All right. He brought in another Montreal connection. What he did with in New Jersey, and
3 times.
He brought in a guy that you have to respect if you're a player because of what he did, and he went to Colorado, and as a coach, he basically turned that franchise around. He got out of coaching for a while, but now it seems like this is the right time, and it might be the right guy. I mean, we were talking before. Yeah, they should have lost that Dallas game, but won the Knights game because they played a fantastic game against the Knights, and I think it's a great move. It's a guy who the players are going to have to respect. And let's see what he does over the next half a season. But I like the move. I definitely like the move.
Gary, 2 parts. Do you like the move? And B, why do you like the move?
Again, echoing in on the sentiment, I again, total complete shock. But as we were saying before we got on the air, I said the password is accountability, and that's instant with Patrick Waugh, because he always held himself to such a high standard and accountability, and he's expecting that from his players. Everybody's talking. A lot of people talked about the fact of how he left Colorado, how the situation was bad, but I think him going back to Quebec and doing what he did the last 4 years with the Rempart. Winning the Memorial Cup last season in such convincing. I think he learned a lot more about himself and how he should approach come possibly, but again, the potential of getting another NHL job. And, he was up on the Rangers list before they hired Laviolette. So, obviously the name was out there, and it was just after the Memorial Cup. So, it was fresh on people's minds, but, you see it in the players, you see it in their, expressions. Again, being at the last two games, you see it in the body language on the guys on the bench, watching him talking to the players. And, Stefan Rosner made the comment on Sunday night that he heard him from the press box. And I absolutely heard him from the upper deck in 316 screaming at the defense on positioning. So he is exactly what this team needed, a breath of fresh air. Again, people are going to rip on Lane Lambert. Unfortunately, as a first-time coach, you're not going to get a good leash. And when, and again, it was on the wall. I think 99.9% of people felt the same way that Joe felt, that he was not going to leave Chicago and return here with a job. And, I like the attitude. I like how the guys made, I won't say an immediate change, but you see a different approach that these guys are putting out there. And that's only with as of today, one full practice. You know what those game day skates are. They're 35 minutes. They're 20 minutes if they're lucky. They're nothing. All they're doing is just going over a couple of things. So I'm sure the intensity was good today. And I'm sure, that hopefully the same kind of play and effort exists out of these guys when they hit LaBelle Province tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue off of what you both said. No one saw Patrick Roy coming. Complete shock. I love the fact that he's a little more emotional, but he's when he's emotional, it's because for now they're making fundamental mistakes out there. But for me, this initial shock, the emotional part of the coach of him being here, for me, is only going to last so long. And I'm going to agree with Gary on this one. He's only had one practice. They're going to take a couple of games. I want to see this team structurally better by game 7, 10. That's where it's like, okay, Patrick Roy is here. He's vocal. He's going to get these players out, in sync, whatnot. But these results better start showing up. And it's going to be on the players at this point because now they have absolutely no excuses going in. So, Joe, and I'm going to give you a little more credit here.
Uh-oh.
When I have to. It pains me. But here we go again. And this is a question, folks, that he doesn't know that's coming either. Who was the one player that you thought Matt Barzal could be developed into?
Guy Carbonneau.
Oh, and where did Guy Carbonneau play?
Montreal.
And who did Guy Carbonneau play with in Montreal?
Patrick Roy.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go. So listen, I've seen it. Gary has seen it. Joe, I want you to describe the system that you've seen so far that Roy has implemented that the players seem to be more focused on than what Lane Lambert did.
2-1-2 forecheck. Those two games, they were very, the top two guys were very aggressive going after the puck. And another thing I was surprised about, they got rid of the box on the penalty kill. Now they're going to the 1-2-1 penalty kill where the top guy chases the point guys, which actually throws a curveball to these other teams because basically everybody's been playing that box system. So that's what I've picked up. And maybe a little more emotion. I know the hits were up in that Vegas game. And let's hope it continues. If it continues this way, they're on the right track. They're on the right track. They're playing a structured system, and they're playing with emotion. They got to play with passion, that team.
Beautiful. Gary, let's feed off of what Thomas just said here. Islanders had no identity with Lambert. Everything that Joe had already said, it really sounds like a Barry Trotz system. What do you feel? I know it's early. Do you feel the Islanders are going to go back to that Barry Trotz, identity? Are we just running the identity line again? What does Patrick Waugh intend to do here? Give me your thoughts.
No, I see it right away, because there were always instances where either when they gave up a goal or the start of the game, you always had the identity line out there. Waugh's not doing that. I think he appreciates the fourth line for what they are, but he's not putting them in overly, necessary situations. He wants, he said right away, at the first press conference, the goals need to come up. You can't rely necessarily on your fourth line who do a great job. Don't make me steer it the wrong way. I'm appreciative of what they do, but they put too much emphasis on that fourth line. Younger days, maybe that was in Barry's system, it may have been different, but Patrick's trying, or as they call him, Patty's trying to do something different. He's trying to, maybe just tweak it a little way, like you said, and going from the box to going to the 1-2-1. He's trying different things. Sometimes, I forget what they call it in football. There was some kind of thing where the pattern shift. I think he's just trying to tweak the pattern a little bit, just to get teams not used to a certain Islander way. It worked for a while, but now it needs to be pushed a little bit. And I think that's the direction he's going. So, like I said, Clutterbuck and McLean's done a great job since he's been brought up. They have a purpose, but do you need to play them 15 minutes a night? I don't think so. I think you can get 9 and 10 out of them. Get the extra effort of those 5 less minutes from those guys. And I think you have an effective tool to use with the offense, to get the offense out in the situations that you need to get them in.
You could probably use them more in the third period with a lead, just to bang the other team up a little bit.
Right. But how many times, Joe, when the Islanders were struggling in the third period, did we see the Clutterbuck line out there with 2 minutes left in the game? Hello.
Right.
Lane did that.
I totally agree with you.
It was a common theme, and that's, you need the scoring. You saw it in the third period in the Dallas game. He was putting the Barzal Horvat line out every other shift.
Right.
You need to get that. You need to get them moving, and that's status quo with Lane's system. Obviously, we saw how it disappeared. And basically destructed.
But one thing Lambert did bring out is that we know this team could score goals, and that was a knock on them, that we're not scoring enough goals. We could score goals. We just got to start, like I said,
playing the right system with it,
keeping the puck out, keeping it out. You know what I mean? So
you saw. They gave up 43 shots against Dallas. In the third minute of the game, I'm like, oh, they're on pace for 125 shots tonight. But they calmed it down a little bit. But you went from 43 to 27, and you saw it right away. They weren't just putting sticks in lanes. They were putting the body out. They were, the gap control was a lot better. Like I said, they played a very winnable game last night. And not that they didn't play a winnable game on Saturday, but you see the progression. Obviously you're not going to get a curve like this all the time, but you see it immediately 4 days in.
Right.
We were seeing it. Right. I don't know why the coaching staff at that time did not see it. Don't know. And
Can I add one more thing that I think you're going to see over the next few games? You're going to see those high stress shots disappear from like 5 or 6 feet in front of the goaltender, straight on. You're going to see more shots coming from angles, single saves, no more of this acrobatic where he's going to have to make one save and then tear his groin making a second save. I think you're going to see that cut down too. The high stress shots.
Mhm.
Joe, you and I are both former goalies. I think if you and I ever put on the pads again, our knees would be screaming at those pads. That's how beat up we are. As far as Sorokin's position is concerned, I would like to see him be a little more aggressive and come out of his crease a little bit more. Uh, Agree? Disagree? What would you
Oh,
like to see out of Sorokin?
he's got to come out of the crease. He's got to get his blocker up. He's got to cover the top part of that. I mean, he's a big goalie. He's tall. I mean, he's got to cover the top part of the net because that's where they're shooting on him. They're shooting high. So I mean, he's got a great glove hand. It's that.
Yep.
It's the blocker. But I agree with you. He's got to come out and challenge them more. And that's another thing about the high stress shots. If he comes out and challenges him, the D has to be there to get the rebound out of
Right.
it.
Right.
Make the
Stop
save.
and stop over screenning.
Well, and that was the Devils championship team back in the 90s. That was their forte. Brodeur makes the first save. The defense collapses around them. They clear the rebound out of there. That's it. That's how you win games. You got to, positioning. That's it. You got to be in position.
And I'm going to agree with Matthew here. The turnovers have to stop. In all honesty, Matt, I'm going to expand on that a little bit. Not only the turnovers, but the bad habits. And Patrick's eventually going to fix that. But the bad habits in their own zone, these blind passes, we saw it with Dobson against Vegas. He thought he had someone up there, made the pass. Vegas intercepted. It was center ice. It wasn't a Matt Martin play, but Dobson, if he had his head up, took his time a little bit more, he could have just skated right up.
Yep.
And then he could have gotten that puck out of the zone, whether he flipped it out or whatnot. But then Vegas doesn't have, they don't cause that turnover. There's no goal there, and that can change the entire complexity of the game. So I agree with that. The turnovers, the bad habits, that they should hopefully start to disappear. And again, I'm going to go with Matthew again. Sorokin is exhausted. Bringing Varlamov back in is going to help. Even if Sorokin gets 5 days off, that's going to do wonders for his psyche, no doubt. Give him a little bit more time to watch the game. It's like sitting one of those youngsters. You're in the press box, but you get to see from a different angle. Sorokin hasn't seen the bench in a while, and he needs to see the bench just to get a better perspective on things because there's always that learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was talking to people, some media outside of Long Island, and they were very much like, very interesting move. We'll see what happens. Do the Islanders have the talent to keep up with Waugh's system or to keep up with Patrick Waugh in general? And gentlemen, I want to go with this question. And Gary, I'll let you go first. Is the question, are the players talented enough, or B, do they fit the system?
I don't think it's one or the other. I
Okay.
really, I think you're going to see, unfortunately, with any team, you're going to have guys that are just not going to be perfect for that system.
Right.
It seems to be, he wants an aggressive, accountable, high skating team, and we all know that some of our guys are a little on the older side of the tooth and a little bit on the slower side of the race. You can compensate for that. So I think that's why I think a bunch of practices need to be held with these guys to get them to, for Patrick to get the guys to understand what Patrick wants them to do. I'm just convinced that, you can always make something work, but it's really, to me, and I'm not saying they got to go 11-1, but the focus is on how quick as a group this team picks up what Patrick wants to do. Right now it's a great foundation, but you got to see that foundation get some more bricks on it. And I think with practice and time, again, having the All-Star break coming now is kind of a good thing. It'll get Ilya some rest and relaxation. He doesn't have to go to All-Star weekend, which is a good thing. It'll let these guys get some needed relaxing time. But I think the system's going to work. It's just how quickly everybody not only signs up for it, but takes it on.
Joe, what do you think? Is it talent? Is it the system? What will define the Islanders' success moving forward here?
Gary made a great point. We're not the
I did.
quickest team in the league. Okay, we're definitely not one of the fastest. We have a couple of fast players, right? I'd say 4 or 5, maybe 6 quick players. The way I look at it is, how do you counteract that? You play a system that slows the other team down. You bring them down to your speed. You let them play your game, which is a slower dump and chase, grind it out game. That's how you do it. Now, if we were facing the Rangers are a fast team. Okay, you're going to see the Islanders dump and chase the puck. You're not going to see them try to skate with them. It's not going to be a good game for you if you're going to try and skate with them.
Right, they're not the Devils.
So what I'm trying to say is he's going to install a system right now where we slow the other teams down and let them play our game. And if you remember, I mean, a couple of years back, conference finals, I mean, we were grinding it out with Tampa. They were a fast team. We slowed them right down. One bad break, kept us from going to the Cup.
Right.
So, but I just think it's the system. The players have their talent, and he's going to bring out the best in which Lambert I don't think could do. I don't think he was a motivator, but he's going to bring out the best of what each player can do and put him in a situation where they're going to be comfortable.
Beautiful. I'm going to go another step further here. With Patrick Waugh signing, and I know a lot of Islander fans are concerned that this team is old. If everyone followed the show last week, I was talking about the prospects, especially the ones in college. They're no more than maybe 2 years away, maybe 3. I'll be generous. Okay. There isn't a prospect in this organization right now that's more excited than those college kids. They get to play under Patrick Waugh. Bridgeport, whoever they have at this point, they now know they have to level up. The competition to play for Patrick Waugh just went up. And I think you're going to see dividends out of Simon Holmstrom at some point. Oliver Wahlstrom, I hope he gets another shot. Because out of anybody right now, he's got a better 200-foot game than most of the other young free agents or, younger players out there. He's been through most of it. I'm hoping he gets his shot at some point. And even Samuel Bolduc. There's enough prospects here that you now bring in Patrick Waugh. If he can have a successful season with the Islanders, who won't want to come in here and play? That's a big selling point here, gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I like it. I like the signing. Again, I'm not over the initial shock yet. I really would like to see what they do with Montreal. Because again, you're going up against Dallas. You're going up against Vegas. 2 top teams in the NHL, let's face it. Now you're going up against another team in Montreal. Not a top team.
Team that's
don't think
given up 19 goals in 3 games.
What's that?
A team that's given up 19 goals in 3 games.
Yeah. You know, if you see these bad habits of the Islanders playing down to a team, what are you going to see Patrick Waugh do?
Take advantage.
I you know what? Here's the thing. And we've all had grandparents, great grandparents from, let's just say, not this country, and they speak another language. Joe, I'm telling you, when my great grandmother started speaking German in our household, we knew we were in trouble. You're from an Italian family, same thing. Gary, I'm sure you have some kind of connection there. If JG
Yeah, my dad was drinking beer.
Oh yeah. If JG Pajot, Samuel Bolduc, if any of those guys
Julien Gauthier.
really start messing up and Patrick Waugh starts yelling in French.
Well, he did that already. He did that with Bolduc in the first practice.
There you go. I would love to see it at a game. I mean, I hope it doesn't cost an Islander goal, but yell at his fellow countrymen in French. There's a whole new. That's a whole kind of whipping.
I'll tell you, I'll say from the view from the seats, the last 2 games, and I don't necessarily think he was playing that terribly bad or effort, but I saw a lot of effort out of JG, especially away from the puck. I saw a lot of it. I mean, it's like, you can always see when someone's really on as Dan Aykroyd used to say in that movie, on a mission from God. Well, he was on a mission from God in a lot of that game last night. I mean, in that play with Holmstrom on the shorty was just brilliant. Yes, you know that in the history of the Canadians, when you have a French coach and you got those French players, it just seems like it's like it's not a different language, but it's a different atmosphere.
It's another level.
Yeah.
It's another level. So, I don't know. It's water cooler talk, gentlemen. Do you have anything else
let me ask both of you a question. Okay, which player on the Islanders is going to benefit the most having Patrick Waugh as the coach?
I may go Matt Barzal. And the reason why I have Matt Barzal is because I have you're in my head rent free at the moment. To see Matt Barzal, and again, we're showing our ages here, folks. To see Matt Barzal play any kind of form of hockey like Guy Carbonneau, like that is the epitome of two-way, 200-foot hockey. With his speed, he's not making those turnovers anymore, Joe. Those turnovers are gone. If he can mold Matt Barzal into the playoffs, Matt Barzal can hit another level. Matt Barzal will go 100 points under Patrick Waugh. If Matt Barzal buys into it, he's got a little Casey Cizikas in him right now, and he's even said we all need a little more Casey Cizikas. But man, Guy Carbonneau, if he can work any kind of if Patrick Waugh can work any kind of magic like that, my goodness.
Yeah.
Gary?
I'm going to go a different way, and a couple of people have said it on here. I mean, I think Bolduc will benefit, but I'd like to see benefit more, and you just put it, is Adam Pelech. And the reason I'm saying Adam Pelech, if you remember, Patrick Waugh was a goaltending rookie in 86 when they won the cup first year. Yep. Same size, same stature. It's a guy by the name of Larry Robinson. And Robinson was big in helping the development of Patrick Waugh. I could see him do the same. I mean, Pelech was an all-star. Yes. Is he struggling? Yes. But I think he could be the one that could be put into another level. We all know what Dobby's doing, and Dobby hasn't just to take care of his little mistakes here or there. But I mean, they said on the radio last night, he did something in Islander history that no defenseman has ever done, including Denny, getting 42 assists in 47 games. So we don't have to worry about Dobby. But I think Pelech is the I really do. And I think it's going to be, if he can do what I think Larry Robinson did for Patrick as a defenseman, I think that speaks dividends.
I'm going to bring this up real quick here.
Okay.
Enval, real quick. Listen, is he a third liner? Sure. But when Lane Lambert put up that defensive system, when Matt Barzal went out last year, it was Bo Horvat, Pierre Enval coming in. Enval had 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points in 18 games. Okay? Pierre Enval thrived under a, shall we say, Barry Trotz system. It was a, more of a defensive first system, where in Toronto, it was, shall we say, a Lane Lambert with the actual forwards, the actual offense in there. My question is, could we see a comeback from Pierre Enval now that we're back to a 200-foot game, defense first? Because I don't think it would affect Pierre Enval alone. I think this is up Brock's alley. This is up Kyle Palmieri's alley. And if you can get a resurgence on, or not even a resurgence, let's just call this a comeback here for Pierre Enval and that line, that whole line could just come back and, perform like they should, because they haven't this year. Joe, give me your thoughts.
Well, my player who I think is going to benefit the most,
and
it's because of everybody that you all just mentioned. Okay, Ilya Sorokin. Okay, the defense is going to play better in front of him. The forwards are going to play better in front of him. And if you could turn Matt Barzal into a Guy Carbonneau and a Pelech into a Larry Robinson, okay, this team is going to do good things. Very good things. So I think everybody's right in this situation. If he has the effect on the players that he's supposed to have, this team is going to be very tough to beat.
Yep.
Very tough to beat.
Gary, I know you got to go fairly soon. Final thoughts? Anything else you want to add?
I'm pretty, like I said, I'm just getting back into that before you get into your water cooler stuff. But it's just, I'm very in a much different frame of mind than I was a week ago. Coming back from Nashville and coming back from that disappointing trip. I was afraid. I was literally afraid to see what Sunday's game was going to be like before I knew about Patrick taking over. It was funny. I'm out Saturday afternoon food shopping, and I'm calling my wife back and forth asking, we need this, we need that, we need this. So I called her like 7 times over an hour. And I get in the car and I drive back, and for whatever reason, my glucose monitor turned off. And when it turned off, it turned my do not disturb on my phone. So I come home and she's like, you don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So it was like Sunday turned into a better day. I was dreading that game Sunday night. I really was. But, don't, to everybody out there and anybody that's going to listen to this show, do not start talking Stanley Cup parades yet. Do not start saying we're going to win the division, blah, 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 blah. Okay? We made a good movement in 4 days. Okay? Just gradually move that pendulum up. They're in a position, the team is in a position that they're not in any tragic problems. Keeping the steps that they're doing. Listen to Patrick, get the system down, and get to where you want to be. And we'll be, I think come March, we're going to be happy. And I think I'm going to be happy, hopefully submitting that playoff ticket voucher for the end of April.
Attaboy.
I'm not being overly optimistic, but I'm optimistic. And don't go all the way over the edge. Let's not go too far.
No.
Just bring it down a little bit. Be happy with the team. Again, no, everybody's not happy with a loss last night to Vegas, but they played a great game. The coach said they played a great game. Take those little things and build on them.
Before you go real quick, let me ask you.
One thing, I am absolutely enjoying the press conferences, and I would have loved to have heard the press conference in French. Because he supposedly spent 9 minutes on Sunday, after his press conference with our media, with the Montreal media. And I would love to be a fly on the wall tomorrow. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
I wanted to ask you real quick, Gary. Was last night's loss a better loss in Nashville in terms of not the way they lost, but in terms of the way they played?
Yes.
Was it night and day?
Night and day.
That's what I wanted.
Night and day. Because although they played all right against Nashville, you still saw, again, I always use body language, and I use it big time, because you see it even in the middle of a 1-1 game. We're even in the middle of a nothing game through 2 periods. You could see the looks on their faces, and they're almost shrugging down, but they're not. And I think even when they made a bad play, even when Dobson made that bad pass against Vegas, you didn't see him put his head down.
Right.
Okay. You saw him skate back to the bench. Yes, he did. Yes, he had it, but he had a purpose, and he came back the next shift and looked better. That's what you want to see. If something bad happens, and bad things happen in hockey, they happen in all sports. But the point of the matter is that next shift, next at bat in baseball, you got to see them come back and attack. And that's what Dobby did, and that's what the other guys are doing. And that's what Patrick Waugh expects. You're going to make a mistake, but if you make a mistake, you learn, you go back and you hit, and you do what you got to do. And that's what I think that's a step. If you make that step, things get better.
Well said, my friend. So, Joe, moving forward, what do you want to see from
Guys,
the
have a
Islanders?
good
Me?
show, okay? I'm going to go.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Take care,
All right,
Gary.
thanks. Yeah.
Take care. What I want to see?
Yeah, moving forward.
Oh, I just want to see them come to play every night. Play hard, play 60 minutes, play a smart game, win or lose, as long as the effort's there, like against Vegas. The effort was there. All right. We lost, but you know what? Vegas, we gave them a tough game. And the next time we play them, they're going to say, all right, remember what they did out in Long Island? They played us tough, and it was a grinding game. And, I just want this team to have, because Gary made a good point, I want them to have a short memory when they make a mistake. You make a bad play, skate to the bench, your next shift, it's forgotten about. Have a short memory, even with a loss. If you have a bad loss, you lose a game in overtime or in the last 2 or 3 seconds of the game, just short memory. That game is over. Let's go get them tomorrow.
Beautiful. For me personally, just working on the numbers, just a better 5-on-5. Barry had a great 5-on-5 moments. He didn't have the power play, but now you have a power play, and you have a system similar to Barry's with a little better motivation than you have with Lane Lambert. You dig in a 5-on-5, you play the system, and you start winning on those power plays, man. Let me tell you, and again, it's the same thing you just said. Play hard, play consistently well. Play the system consistently. When it's finally put into place, I think Islander fans are going to be very happy.
Yeah, you made it. You made a good point. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you made a good point at the beginning of the season. You said that it looked like the way Wayne Lambert had this team, I wouldn't even call it a structure, but you said they were looking to grab a 1 or 2 goal lead in the first period and then try to shut the teams down after that. All right. That didn't work. Okay. Right. After the first whatever it was, 10 or 15 games, it just seemed like they just came in. There was no structure.
Right.
Especially to their offensive game, no like what Patrick brought in now, a 2-1-2 forecheck. I mean, You've seen what it did the last 2 games. You're pressuring the team to give up the puck.
Right.
You know, you're slowing them down. You're slowing these fast teams down to your level. We're not a fast team. So, but you know, I would like to see. I would like to see more intensity, like we had against Vegas. We threw the body, and we slowed them down. So I want to see more of that too.
Beautiful. How's your voice?
I'm coming along.
All right. Nope, that's fine. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in the chat room, it's now your turn. Questions, comments, concerns. If you have any questions, we'll go from there. Listen, I know Mark brought this up before. He's worried about the standings and whatnot. Listen, for right now, I'm not concerned with the standings. The Devils are now injured, and they just lost another player, possibly 2. The Capitals have slowly been coming down in the standings all season. Philadelphia, we'll see how long. Carter Hart is not with the team. You need 2 goaltenders to get you through the season, folks. Philadelphia only has 1, and he's hot right now. That Philadelphia goaltender doesn't stay hot for the rest of the season. Philadelphia is going to struggle mightily. The Penguins, I don't even know how to figure out the Penguins. That's tough for me. Yeah. That you know, when the Penguins score on their own goal, that should pretty much tell you what could happen for the rest of their season. The Canes right now, they're playing their best hockey at the moment. Question is, how high do they go up? You're going to have to give them at least another 15 games, 20 games to figure them out. But we kind of had the Hurricanes in the playoffs anyway, so I'm not too concerned with the Hurricanes doing what they were supposed to do. The Rangers, on the other hand, the Rangers have slowly been coming down. And again, I'll give Joe credit for this as well. Back in December, Joe and I were talking about the Rangers they were hot, but now they're starting to come down to earth. And now the question is, how quickly are they going to come down to earth? So as far as the standing goes, folks, I hate to bust everyone's chops and raise your blood pressure, but it's probably going to take, trade deadline aside, game 77, 78, 79 this season to clinch a playoff spot. That's all of them. Tampa is currently hot right now. Tampa and Carolina are both playing their best hockey right now. How long does that go? We have to see. The Wings are still in it. The Wings are not going anywhere. Randy's going to get blocked. You read this? Randy's going to get blocked. Okay? It's a mosh pit. It's a mosh pit, but the Metro Division right now, there's no guarantee of anyone right now, Joe. No one. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of goaltending questions on every team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Islanders made the right move at the right time, and now Varlamov is back.
Right.
If there's ever a time to ascend into a playoff spot,
Oh, this is it. Yeah.
this is it, boys and girls.
Yeah. But we were saying earlier, I told you, you know, any of these teams that are right outside of that last wild card spot, like say the Devils, Islanders, who's next? Capitals. You fall more than 7 points back.
Correct.
At this point of the season. I think you're done because you're going to have too many teams to climb. And it's just those are you know, stressful points.
Right.
You know, but I think I agree with you. I think the Islanders made the right move at the right time. And you know, I think at the trade deadline, if this team is running on all cylinders, I think he might bring in maybe another winger.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And for right now, Jim, I'm going to say no. He doesn't need to make a trade. I think we're all going to find out what this Wah effect is. But because of everyone being so, I don't want to say messed up, everyone's jungled in that Metro division right now. Um, you know, Lou's going to be a little more patient. Do they need to make a trade? It wouldn't hurt, but I don't think they need to, unless Lou's really going to make another big splash. He'll trade his first rounder again. From a prospect standpoint, from a drafting standpoint, he does not have to trade his first rounder. He doesn't. Me personally, I would prefer if he kept the rest of his picks for like the next 2 or 3 years, and you can run with that team. They're okay. But if there's a player out there who's worth that first round pick, he's got to be worth it. Like it's got to be a top 6 forward. I don't know if they're going to go, a third liner who's 22 or 23-year-old with potential on the second line. I don't think they're going to do that. If they're going to trade their first rounder, it's got to be a top 6 forward. I can't see it being a bottom 6. Do we see Pulock back this season? Great question. From what I've been able to read and understand, I believe it's another old injury. He got hit on that same bad ankle. Honestly, I've had that same injury. I've been out a little longer. That's a medical thing, Mark. I don't know. We're not going to know. That's tough. So honestly, in all honesty, I couldn't tell you. Would I love Pulock ready to go for the playoffs? No doubt. But for right now, my honest answer is I don't know. We don't know. Honestly, guys, I've said this before. McLean was the eventual replacement for Casey Cizikas. I think he's still there. As far as I'm concerned, McLean is doing a real good job. He might get picked up by somebody, but kudos to him for playing a simple, basic his game.
Yep.
Doing very well in it. I just want to see that kid score a goal. He's earned it. He's earned it the whole way. Mid-February, March. Okay, cool. I'll go along with that.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, mid-February, March. March would make more sense to me because that's after the trade deadline. Then you can open up as many roster spots as you want as long as you're under the cap. So again, that would coincide with Lou maybe making a deal, but we're not speculating on that. It's still too far yet. Palmieri really needs to get going. Him not producing really makes things tougher. I'm going to go that whole second line, Mark. Give me that second line, 200-foot defensive game like we saw before. I want to see that second line like it was this calendar year. That second line helped carry this team along with Bo Horvat. With the system that's now getting in place, that would be a goal. Get that second line running. Absolutely.
I would love to find out the last few games how many goals that line had scored against them.
I don't think so. I didn't think they had any.
Then they're playing a good game. They're just not putting the puck in the net.
No, yeah, no.
They're
5 on
playing a
5.
tight game then.
Yeah, 5 on 5 as a line. I think they're only like a -3.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not
I'll take
bad,
that.
but again, like we've all been saying here, a little more scoring on that line will go a long way. And
Yeah.
a tweak of the system there may actually help with that. Who plays Fashing or Gauthier? Well, that's not fair. They're on different lines. They're on different wings. For the speed, if you're playing a younger team, I definitely go Gauthier. He's got the speed for it. If you're going to play that grinded out system, Fashing, no doubt. He's also a bigger net presence. I think they're both going to be on the team next year. I think they could be part of a fourth line with Casey Cizikas, which wouldn't be a bad thing because then Casey has a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would take it.
Yeah, no, there's a part of me that thinks he's snake bit, but man, again, we all know this now. We're we're not taking you guys for fools here. We all know Palms get, if he gets hot, look out.
Especially come
He's good.
playoff time.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Peugeot, big time playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And again, for everyone, I know we're all nitpicking on the players here, but it's more of a system thing. You get the system right, then we can start complaining about the lines because it's all three. It's just not one player anymore. So Bortuzzo, I haven't heard anything on Bortuzzo. And again, that's going to be a question of, who comes back, when do they come back, how is Lou going to manage all that? As far as I'm concerned, let them stay out. Get the system implemented first. Bortuzzo can practice with the team and still be on injured reserve. Let him get used to the system. This is all clean slate here, boys and girls. Clean slate.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is who's coming back. If the team is clicking,
right,
nobody's coming out of the lineup.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you're giving somebody a maintenance day. But when teams are clicking, they you play everybody.
Right. I know Enval is playing tomorrow. Well, we already got told that. So Enval is in. I don't know who's actually sitting. Wah is signed past this year. Yeah, to my knowledge, according to the other beat writers, they have Wah pegged for, multiple years. This year, next year. We'll see what happens after that. But yeah, no, he's here. He's here. And, he'll probably be measured on the success that they have each year. And you just go from there. So, for those of you wondering if Patrick Waugh is going to replace Lou Lamoriello as GM, look, we've said this before. Joe and I have had this confirmed for you. Lou even said it to me personally at one of the booster clubs. Unless Lou is physically unable to perform his duties as general manager, he's going to remain general manager. So, you've got Lou for probably 3 years, solid. If something happens to Lou, like on a short-term basis, okay, you could probably see Chris Lamoriello take over. Kind of like on an emergency basis, but at least, Chris would learn something. What role would Patrick have after that? No clue. But when Patrick said he's only here for coaching, take him at his word. He's only here for coaching. Okay. Patrick Waugh has Jacques Lemaire in his corner. He's got all those Montreal guys that he can, come back to. He's soaking up every kind of knowledge from Lou Lamoriello. It's all there. Let him learn what this NHL is all about right now. Don't put that much pressure on him. Let him see. Let's see what he can do as a coach right now. But as of right now, don't expect Waugh to be in, the next general manager. Because Lou's probably here for the next 3 years. 2.5, just to appease you guys. What's the story with that assistant coach that was said to be hired by Waugh and then Lou declined it? I don't know. I guess someone leaked it ahead of time, tried to get ahead of everybody. I don't know. Yeah, nothing's official until Lou makes it official. We've learned that lesson.
Yep.
So, no, Berube, listen, I'm going to bring this up real quick. Lane Lambert, along with Craig Berube, were relieved of their coaching duties. The media calls it fired. But when the term relieved of duties comes out, that means they're no longer in that position, but they're still getting paid by the team, which means they may have another place for that person in the organization. Okay. Garth Snow was relieved of his duties. What did Garth Snow do after he was relieved of his duties? He either scouted or did nothing because the Islanders paid him. Craig Berube, to my knowledge, was scouting for the St. Louis Blues. So when a coach gets relieved of his duties, the other team has to ask permission to hire that coach. And usually it's a no. but they have to have that coach or whoever relieved of their duties finish out the year. So that's what happens. He does coach in Gatineau, and the Q season doesn't end until mid-March would be my guess. And if Gatineau's not in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League playoffs, sure, he'd be available. That would actually make more sense, but we'll go from there. Bruins suck 2-0 Key. Nothing helpful. Listen, I just said this on the show before. I didn't even know the score. Carolina's on their way up. You got to give them at least 10 games to find out where their plateau is. Where are they going to be? After that, you're going to see a little trickle down. And then as we get closer to the playoffs, you're going to have to find out, where they are. So, Lane made it to Chicago. Listen, I've heard stories. I've heard stories that the search actually got started after that San Jose loss. And Lou was doing his due diligence after the San Jose loss. Granted, Lambert made that big winning streak, but the process has already started. I don't know if this is true, so don't hold it to me. Lambert only had a 2-year deal. It would make all the sense of the world. If he wasn't getting re-signed, Lou's making the move now, especially with everything going on, it just made sense. Time-wise. Other than that, I can't confirm anything for you guys on that. But does it make sense at the moment? Sure. If you see Lane Lambert scouting for the Islanders next year, or if you don't see him with another team next year, maybe it was a 3-year deal. We'll find out. So we go from there. But it's done. It's over with. Welcome, Patrick Waugh. Good luck. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Randy, you need to worry about your Flames. Worry about your Flames, and more importantly, worry about your Toronto Maple Leafs, bud, because guess what? Tampa's coming for you. I'm going to yell at Randy when we're done. But, listen, closing thoughts here, Joe. Give me your...
Okay.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts. I think consistency, everybody coming to play, giving it their all every night. The little mental mistakes, I think we're going to see that disappear with whatever system they're playing. And I just want to see them stick to the system and just play the game that they're supposed to play. It's we put up with I can't even knock Lane Lambert because I think it just fell apart on him. I don't know if he lost the locker room or whatever, but you watch the last 2 games and you're seeing a totally different team because they're playing a structured system. Watching, like, especially that game against Chicago, they were all over the place. They were all over. And we were talking, and we were saying the Islanders are letting I said an AHL team. You said a Western Hockey League team go through the neutral zone without even touching them.
Right.
And that was it. And that's when I said to you, Paul, they lose this game, Lambert's not coming back to Long Island.
Right.
And that's what happened. But I just want to see consistency. Consistency, and I want to see like a total effort by this team.
Right.
And we'll be all right. If they play the way they did against Vegas and they come to play every night like that, then we'll be fine. Right. But my parting thoughts are, let's just sit back and enjoy it the rest of the season now. Don't stress over it. Don't worry about what the Rangers or the Devils or this team's doing.
No.
Just sit back and enjoy hockey. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Grab a lawn chair to watch that match.
Sit
back. Lawn chair with your favorite drink.
That's it. That's what me and Paul do. We sit back. We don't curse at the TV or whatever. We just sit back. We watch the game. We lost tonight. We'll get them tomorrow. That's it. Enjoy it. Sit back and enjoy it.
So, my closing thoughts, real quick, folks. Listen, year and a half ago, a little over a little over a year and a half ago, we hired Lane Lambert. We didn't know what we were getting out of Lane Lambert. We didn't know if we were going to get a Barry Trotz system. We didn't know if we were going to get a Doug Waite system, because those were the two extremes. It turns out we got both systems at different times. And that's exactly what Joe was just talking about. The consistency. Lambert, when he had a Barry Trotz system going, didn't have a power play. When he played a Doug Waite system, he had a power play, but he didn't have the defense. He didn't have the structure. Patrick Waugh is now walking in with an offense and a power play. And now he's going to add in that defensive structure that the Islanders have been missing. I can't remember the last time. It would probably be like the 2002 season, where you had a power play, the offense, and the defense all clicking together. It might be that 2002 team.
Or maybe 93.
I didn't want to go there, but we might.
Yeah.
We may have to. We'll see where that goes. But both teams made it to the playoffs, there's no doubt. And 93 made a lot of noise. And as far as Islanders fans are concerned, that 2002 team was the best losing series team they've ever had.
Yep.
Some of the greatest memories getting back there. Like Joe said, give this team a little more time. Honestly, don't worry about the Metro yet. I'll let you know when you can worry about the Metro, because that's ready to fall apart. And in all honesty, Tampa, Detroit, they know this. They know this. They're going to feed off that. Islanders, they know it. That's why they made the move now. Islander fans, in another couple of days, even after the All-Star break, get excited. There's no reason not to. In 2 games, you've seen almost a complete 180 on this team. And remember what I've said before. When the Islanders hold teams with 3 goals or less, I believe the record, and I'll be exact here, 13-7-4. 13-7. Oh, I'm sorry. 17-4-2. 17-4-2, folks, when they hold a team to 3 goals or less. Granted, they were back-to-back games, but they held Vegas and Dallas to 3 goals and less. That wasn't happening under Lane Lambert. Vegas and Dallas, you were praying for a 5-4 win. There's structure there. There's going to be changes. The habits are hopefully going to go. And when you do, it's time to get excited. Don't make fun of Ranger fans yet. Don't make fun of Devils fans yet. We don't know what's going to happen. But there's enough time to be optimistic. Don't jump, like Gary said, don't jump too far. But when you start noticing the little things on the ice, like Joe and Gary have said, feel better about this team moving forward. So with that, listen, we hope everyone follows us on X. Joe, where can they find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter, Facebook. That's about it.
Beautiful. Listen, we have over 800 followers on Facebook. We appreciate that so much. We have, a couple of hundred on X. We're hoping to get a little bit more than that. We've got close to 80 subscribers on YouTube. That's gone up over the year. Listen, please hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube any chance you can get. We'll take all the followers we can get. We love doing this. This is for you guys. We don't want to waste your time, because if we're wasting your time, we're just wasting our time. So we enjoy doing this. We hope you come back next week, and we'll see if Joe and Gary can make it. If not, I'll find a guest, and who knows? It'll be All-Star Weekend. We'll go from there, and we'll have more to talk about. Hopefully, it's all in the good stuff. So I want to thank Gary for coming on again. Joe, thank you so much for showing up this time. About time.
Thanks for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's go Islanders, and we'll see you next week.